This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting radio-exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
Hey, y'all, and welcome to another episode of the Millennial Management Podcast. I am your host, Brandy, the Millennial Manager, and today is Wednesday. If you are inside of Patreon, if you are outside of Patreon, it's Friday, and I hope y'all are having a wonderful day no matter where you are listening. I wanted to make sure that I remind you to join Patreon because we will be going live on next Saturday, okay? Next Saturday, which is June 7th, we are going to be live inside of Patreon, and we're going to be talking about what you want to talk about. So if you have questions, if you need some things answered, that is the time we are going to do it. It is $6 to join Patreon. Patreon receives our early episodes. You can see this week is a little bit different because Monday was a holiday. So there was no Monday motivation for the public. And then today, Patreon has this episode, and I'm going to release like a motivation episode, like a midweek for the public. So if you're listening, you're like, why is this saying Wednesday? It's because you are listening to a Patreon episode that is given to you on Friday. Okay. All right. So let's get started. I have an email here that was very interesting to read, and it's from a manager, okay, that is struggling with possible time theft within the company. And I'm going to read that email, and then I have a few more that we want to get into. All right. So this first one, it says, how would you handle a new team member who is 22 days in the role? So she's brand spanking new, or he is brand spanking new, with 102 minutes of time off task outside of their 30-minute paid break. I caught this team member in the break room who immediately bolted past me back to the floor and not saying a word, then lied to another manager in my department saying that they had asked if they could go to the break room on the clock and take their anxiety medication. This team member told me no such thing. To add to all of this, I just talked to them about egregious time off tasks last week. I am just curious to hear your reaction to this behavior. LOL, my co-manager is advocating for a first written, but I feel like it should be a term for the time theft. I would like to tell you that I would fire them. I would. And let me tell you why. Because this is a sign of what is about to come. Okay? They are already in violation of company policy, which you had a verbal conversation to them about. They are still on probation. And if they are behaving this way and it's only been 22 days, that's not even that fucking long. That's not even a full month of them being in a position. Okay? I agree with you that you should terminate them because they are in violation. The lunchroom situation or break room situation can kind of be he say, she say. If you want to put pen to paper and start the process of writing them up and hopefully they straighten out, then yes, go with the first write up. But I kind of see this being a problem. This person is irresponsible and they are just coming to work to play and not just do your job and go home. I don't understand why they lied. So that part you'll probably never really get to the bottom of, because again, this is he say, she say. There's nothing documented that says, well, I told this person this, or this person told me that, or the manager could say, well, she told me this. No, I didn't. And y'all could be just going round and round and round. So if you want to put pen to paper and execute full process of whatever your company's requirements are before you get ready to terminate somebody, or you could do it now and nip it in the bud because they're still within probation. It's really up to you to see whether or not you want to move further with this, like which way you want to go. Me personally, I see it as a problem. I see it as a problem. It is a telltale sign for people who like to play on the clock, who like to not do their job. I'm so for real. And I know some of y'all gonna be like, well, Brandy, no. You are paid to do a job and you need to take your ass to work and do your job. Take a break. It do not take 102 minutes to take anxiety medication. You can go in there, take the medicine real quick and get back to work or do whatever it is that you need to do. If you need to take a lunch, then clock out. Don't be on the clock, sitting in a break room, not doing what you want to, or not doing your job. That's time theft. And a manager who knows that you are doing it can also get written up too. So that's why I'm saying, I feel like since you already had that conversation with them, I would just go ahead and tell them, baby, this ain't working out. Have a good one. And when they ask why, excessive use of the break room, you have a set time that you are supposed to be in the break room. And if you were allowed to go to the break room to take anxiety medication, which technically she was not, she lied, right? And she bolted out of there when she saw you come in because she knew that she was not being honest. And I would just be careful with that. I just feel like people nowadays, there's an interesting set of employees that are coming up. I guess I just see it more because, of course, I am interviewing people. I'm interviewing doctors, hygienists, receptionists. And I feel like I just happen to see people a lot. So I'm able to see that there are a lot of people who are just not disciplined. Okay? Like, in order for you to work in a work environment, yes, there has to be rules, but there are just some things that should be common sense, right? Common sense tells me that I should probably not sit in the break room for 102 minutes or whatever she was doing on company time. Common sense tells me that. But there are some people who just lack common sense, common knowledge, and have to be spoon-fed everything. And this is across generations. There are some people who, well, nobody told me. I didn't know. There's a company handbook available that is given to you, that is signed by you. So they know that they have to do these things. They know that they should not do that, right? But they want the excuse of being able to say, nobody verbally told me. That's why it's good that you had a verbal conversation with her. I hope that you documented it. You know, I hope that you took that information and made sure it was documented and made sure that you have some type of record of that conversation, because she is going to say that it did not happen. Okay? She is going to say that. And sadly, that's the game that people like to play. So because you had a verbal conversation with her, if you did not document it, then I take back what I said. Do not just fire her, okay? You need to go back and have a proper firing, okay? You need to have reports. You need to have examples, because if you don't have an example of how she's doing this or how there are times that she is off task, that's a long ass time to be off task. That's almost 2 hours of time unaccounted for. So if you do have some good documentation, you can move forward, please, because you are just saving yourself the headache in the future. And I'm telling you right now, okay, some things that people exhibit in the workplace are behaviors. Constantly being late, constantly calling out of work. This tell you, number one, this person does not give a fuck about their own job, okay? Not saying that you give a fuck about a company, but you should be mindful enough to know that if I am excessively calling out, I am putting my job at risk. I'm putting at risk how I'm going to pay my bills. Okay, because there are attendance policies that you have to follow. And that's where it's like, okay, guys, like y'all need to have a fucking reality check, because what you're asking for or what you all are looking for in the workplace is not real. There is a work-life balance, but you have to create that. You have to figure out what your boundaries are. And a lot of people don't want that. They just want companies to give them everything. A company is not going to do that. You're expecting too much from a fucking corporation. It's a business. Okay? So I hope that you make the right decision and make sure that your ass got something to write her ass up with. If you don't, go back to the drawing board. You're going to have to start from scratch. It's like that day didn't even happen. Like that moment didn't even happen, and you just going to have to start from the beginning and make sure that you have some secured documentation to support what you are saying. Because if you don't, it is going to be he say, she say, just like I said previously. And you don't want that. It needs to be something of concrete evidence where you can give examples, where you can show exactly when they've been calling out or when whatever is going on with this person. Where she's in the break room too long. You have a set amount of time. Nobody should have to tell you you're over your time. No, you know that. Be accountable for that. So, all right, and on to our next email. This one says, good morning. I had an interview a few weeks ago. There were 2 men and a woman interviewing me. The interview was going really well until she asked me how I am on an everyday basis. I explained pretty chill, but when it comes to my work, I am serious about my job. I was surprised and
Plan on flying? In order to board domestic flights, your driver's license or state-issued ID must be a real ID. Learn how to get your real ID today at tsa.gov/real ID or visit your local DMV.
Disgusted by what came out of her mouth next. She started, I seem very aggressive. What? And I felt offended because to hear this from another Black woman was overwhelming. Oh my God. Then she tries to clean it up by saying she meant very serious. I explained to her that my parents raised me to take things serious in life and that I recently lost my mother, but no one works and goes hard for the community and youth harder than me. The guys wanted to move forward in the hiring process and she stopped them. I reported this behavior to the human resource department. I explained to them that her behavior during the interview was unprofessional and that being judged and not knowing the person is absolutely no place for an interview. Even when she asked me to tell them about myself, she interrupted me several times. Thank God that you will not have to work with this bitch. Thank him right now, okay? Because she sounds like a crazy ass person. I don't know why there are certain Black women who just thrive for this type of behavior. They don't want to see another woman in space. They don't want to see this Black woman move up. I don't know what that is. And it's weird as fuck. I don't know the race of the gentleman that you were talking about, but they were trying to maneuver around her weird ass behavior. And fortunately, you did not get this job. I'm telling you, you would have been out of there in a minute. Think about it if you would have had to work with somebody like this. Your ass would have had to been in HR constantly behind the things that she says, behind her rude behavior, behind her rude attitude. I would never want to work with somebody like this. Ever. And there are just some people who are women who are not girls. I don't know why you would go out of your way to attack somebody like that. Whether she, it don't matter. When I see another woman, I don't automatically see an ally, but I also don't automatically see an enemy either. Right? Your mouth, the way you talk, is what let me know whether or not you are someone that I can trust, that I can confide in, that I can relate to, no matter what you look like. And we got to stop doing that too. That's how we end up in a lot of situations where we're heartbroken or disheartened because we try to see ourselves in other black women. A lot of them motherfuckers is not, I would never see myself in some. Okay? Because they don't advocate for me or for things that I, think could move our community forward. We have to be very careful with who we just automatically associate sisterhood with because, girl, no. I did a post on Women's Day back in March, and I was like, every one of y'all don't deserve it. Some of y'all motherfuckers is not even worth the title of women because y'all are setting us back. Every time you open your mouth, every time you communicate, and to see that the men tried to move around her, but unfortunately they cannot let you know the type of stronghold she got in that organization. You listed the name of the organization. And all I'm going to say, this ain't the first email I done got by them. Okay? I don't want to tell it, but all I'm saying is this is not the first one that I done got about these folk. You had enough sense to go report her to HR, but I don't know how far that's going to go because look at what happened in this interview. Nobody stopped her. So they tell you one thing, she got a stronghold in this place and your ass do not want to be a part of it because you're going to be at HR every other fucking week, if not every day, dealing with this raggedy ass lady. Okay? So rejection is protection and moving you forward to your next opportunity because they weren't going to do nothing but play with your fucking time and we ain't got time for that. Okay? All right, let's go to our next email. This one says, "Hey, Brandy. Hey, baby. Hello. How do you feel about putting race on applications?" I feel like the main people that be saying race don't matter, why I got to put it on the fucking application then? Why you need to know what race, what demographic I reside? Like, why do you need to know that? If y'all are really hiring off of merit, which we know that they're not, but if you are really hiring off of merit, then you should need to know my race. So if you are able to skip it, I would skip it, or I would put white. I swear to God, I would put white just to see, especially with this shit that's going on with Workday, which I don't know why I didn't do like a whole overarching episode on that. That just may need to be a bonus episode for Patreon and then a separate episode for everybody else. But especially with this shit that's going on with Workday. Okay, Workday, if you are not aware, is being sued because there are about 40 applicants who said that they put in applications, right, to Workday for several different organizations, immediately rejected. All of these people are over a certain age, so they feel like it's ageism, racism, because there are some who are not white or who are non-white, so they could be black. I don't know the exact race. One person I do know. Just in the article that I read, it was it was quite obvious where this person went to school. The description, it was very obvious. But my point is that the AI software is basically automatically denying applicants. That's exactly what it is. Like, people put their application in at 11:50 and 11:51, they are being rejected. And there's no way that a person is reviewing these job applications is the point. So if the AI software is rejecting these applicants, but it's happening in large, they want to know, are there some stipulations or things that people are putting on these resumes or on their applications that cause them to automatically be rejected? This is where the 11,000 people or organizations who use Workday, I feel like some people are about to get subpoenaed to come to court. I think this is about to be way bigger than what a lot of people on social media think. Because what are y'all putting in the stipulations? What are you putting as far as the requirements, right, to trigger the AI system to do that? And then the question is, why is Workday allowing it, right, if that's what's happening? So I am very interested to see what is going to happen from this lawsuit. As far as people asking about, because it is a class action lawsuit, I don't know if there has been any link or anything that has been given to where you can sign up or where you can participate, because it's brand new. The lawsuit was just filed on Friday. So there's not a whole lot of information that is available because they haven't went to court yet. But I do think it is going to pan out in an interesting way. And I feel like it's going to be bigger because they're going to have to call the companies forward. It's 11,000 organizations that have utilized Workday or are currently utilizing it since its inception. So it's going to be very interesting, and it's going to be a long, drawn-out one. I don't know exactly how this is going to go. For those of you who are attorneys, y'all can comment in the review section and kind of let us know what is going to happen. But I think this is going to be a very interesting situation, and I'm interested to know how it's going to end, because I posted that video and there are several people, even people who work for their current organization, and they are applying to positions that they should be qualified for because they work there. They have the required education. They have the required certificates. They meet the requirements of the job posting, the job description. Why are they not even being selected, even brought in for an interview? So it just kind of begs the question, what is happening on the back end and who is monitoring this AI software? What is going on with the information? Because that was another question. Like, where does all this information go? How is it being stored? Like, it's just so many things that I feel like are just about to unravel from this lawsuit. And there are going to be several other platforms that may need to get their shit together. I'm not going to name names, but you know how Target is kind of like an example for a lot of other organizations? I feel like Workday is about to be an example for a lot of these job posting platforms where there has to be some accountability there. And we'll see how far it goes, if it goes anywhere, because they could throw it out. But that's just what was being alleged. So hopefully we get to the bottom of it quickly. And we can kind of see where this goes. But that is going to be it for today's episode. Remember, we're going to be going live on next Saturday, which is June 7th at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time inside of Patreon. If you have questions that you want to ask, you can send those over to the THEE management pod at gmail.com. And those questions, I can read those on the live. I probably need to do a separate one for Patreon, but we're just going to go there. Just put Patreon in the subject so that I know where those emails are coming from and that you want those questions answered on that live. Well, that is going to be it for today. I hope y'all have a good ass day, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.
Plan on flying? In order to board domestic flights, your driver's license or state-issued ID must be a real ID. Learn how to get your real ID today at tsa.gov/realid or visit your local DMV.